and the Fire Department of St. Kitts and Nevis.
I am Woman Fire Officer Mavis White Archibald with your safety tip for today. Install smoke alarms on every level of your home, inside bedrooms and outside sleeping areas. Test smoke alarms every month. If they are not working, change the batteries.
This message was brought to you by ZIZ and the St. Kitts Nevis Fire Department.
All right, good morning. It's now 9:33 in the morning. I'm a little excited here. Let me slow down. 9:33 in the studio. 27 minutes moving up to the hour of 10 o'clock. For those of you who are in tune, you can see Fire Station Officer Hodgson is in the building with me this morning. Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you, GQ, and good morning to the listening and viewing audience.
All right, and then let's make sure we have Mr. Clark, Davron Clark on the line, the phone line. Make sure he's there. Good morning.
Good morning, GQ. Good morning to you, listening and the viewing audience, and also to Mr. Hodgson in the studio.
All right, great.
Good morning to you, sir.
Great. Well, last week we started the conversation about fire safety in the homes and businesses and the different classes of fires. And we touched base on a lot last week, just me and you, Mr. Clark. And we planned, to continue the conversation looking at the other aspects of it in terms of the right fire extinguishers to use for the different types of fires which we highlighted in the different classes last week. Am I on the right page with you?
Yes, sir, you are.
All right, great. Now, before we get into our conversation this morning, I would like to ask Mr. Hodge if he has any update or any concerns he'd like to address the public before we get into our conversation.
Well, for this morning, I think continuing with the fire extinguisher conversation is fitting for now, as we are fastly moving into our what we call our fire season. For the unit in Sandy Point yesterday, I know that there were 3 fires in the Sandy Point district. There was one in the Tabernacle district, and these fires we have no control over most of the wildfires, and sometimes the units are so stretched dealing with them. Some of these fires, some do light on their own, some are lit by persons who still go the route of lighting fires in their yard, or lighting fires in areas that are not properly kept, and because of the dry vegetation around and the very high breeze, these fires get away so fast that it gives you no chance even to pull the garden hose that you have. So in fitting with the fire extinguishers, where fires may run onto your property, it's good to have fire extinguishers so that you can try to out that fire while you call the fire department to come and assist you. So Mr. Clark chose this topic for now, and I think it's well in tune, well in time.
Mr. Clark, over to you.
Yes, good morning again. So last week, we touched on 5 different classes of fires. Then we'll talk about the first one, Class A fires, which involves ordinary combustibles, such as materials like wood, paper, fabric, trash, and plastic, etc. Second one was the Class B fires, involve combustible liquids and gases. We have some petroleum-based products such as gasoline, paint, kerosene, and other gases that are highly flammable, propane and butane, which are common causes of Class B fires. The third one was when we talk about the energized electrical equipment. These electrical equipment, as I said, they must be energized in order to be fall under Class C. Move along to Class C fires involves metal fires, some of which are aluminum, titanium, magnesium, and potassium. And last but finally, we spoke about class K fires, which involved grease fires or cooking fires, mostly in the big restaurants and commercial restaurants where we have these fires. So the question is now, what type of extinguishers that are needed to effectively put out these fires? Okay? Before I go into that, let me give you the definition for a fire extinguisher. A fire extinguisher is a portable device operated by hand containing an extinguishing agent that can be expelled under pressure for the purpose of suppressing or extinguishing a fire in the incipient stage. The incipient stage, though we call it the early stages of fire, where the fire has just started. So basically, once the fire is a big fire, the fire extinguisher will not be effective. That's why we have to call the fire department. But if the fire is small, you can attempt by using the correct fire extinguisher to try to extinguish the fire until the arrival of the fire department.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go into the types of fire extinguishers now?
All right.
Sure. Let's first talk about the pressurized water extinguisher. The water extinguisher is effective on Class A fires only. It has a pressure gauge to allow visual capacity checks. It extinguishes by cooling the burning material below the ignition point. The water will take away the heat element from the fire. Water extinguishers is not effective on Class B or Class C fires.
Okay.
Am I straight on that, Jacob?
Yeah. I'm following you. I'm good with you. I'm good with you.
Okay,
You're basically touching base on the labeling system for the fire, the different type of fire extinguishers, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. And what should people look for when they're purchasing one?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Let's move on to carbon dioxide, CO2. The carbon dioxide extinguisher is effective on Class B and or Class C fires. The carbon dioxide fire extinguisher has no pressure gauge to verify the capacity. So you have to verify the capacity by lifting it.
Mm-hmm.
It extinguishes the fire by smothering it, the burning material, which will displace the oxygen. Okay? So it is not effective on Class A fires. It is effective on Class B fires, which involve liquids and grease, and also Class C fires, which involves electrical equipment. The CO2 has a horn on the end of the discharge hose,
Right.
so it can be easily known. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the multipurpose dry chemical, or we call it ABC fire extinguisher.
Mm-hmm.
The ABC means it's effective on classes A, B, and C fires. This too has a pressure gauge to allow visual capacity checks, and it also extinguishes by smothering the burning materials. This separates the fuel from the oxygen in the air. And it is as I said, it is effective on the Class A, trash, wood, paper, B, Class B, liquid, greases, and Class C, energized electrical equipment. Okay. The final one is wet chemical, which extinguishes Class K fires. This too extinguishes by cooling and forming a foam blanket to prevent the fire from reigniting. Basically, that is a wrap as it relates to the different types of extinguishers. So if you have any question that you can ask, or you want to move in and
I definitely have a question or two, all right? Because, I mean, what you shared, I understand, but it can be a little bit daunting for individuals who are not au fait with the labeling system. And even though you shared clearly what they covered, an individual might still have some questions. Like, for example, make it simple for me. I'm going to purchase a fire extinguisher for my home. Which one will you recommend?
Depends on the hazards or where you want the fire extinguisher. Let's say you have in the front room, we have television, we have radios, we have a number of sockets, computers, and everything. You might want to purchase a Class C because just in case an electrical fire, we can use that. But we also have chairs. We also have Class A combustibles in the area as well. Okay, so the best one can use based on your budget might just be the the multi-purpose dry chemical extinguisher, which extinguishes A, B, and C fires.
Okay. Well, that sounds like a good recommendation. I think the audience would agree with me. That would save you the hassle of trying to figure out the different labeling system and then going home to check, and the list goes on and on. So I definitely will support that last recommendation, the multi-purpose one.
Yes.
All right. I've been doing some research as it relates to our program for today, and I came across something called the PASS method. Have you ever heard of the PASS method? And if you have, what is the PASS method?
The PASS method is the acronym that we use as it relates to how to use the fire extinguisher.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have PASS. First, the P means pull the pin.
Mm-hmm.
The pin is located on the top of the fire extinguisher between the carrying handle and the trigger. You pull that pin, you will aim the nozzle to the base of the fire. The S, you will squeeze the handle, which will start to release the agent through the hose.
Mm-hmm.
And the final S, you sweep from side to side, left to right, at the base. This is very important. At the base of the fire.
Okay.
Until the fire is out.
Okay. So your point, aim, squeeze, and sweep.
Yes.
Pull, aim,
Pull.
squeeze, and sweep.
Oh, sorry. Pull, aim,
Squeeze, and sweep.
and sweep. Okay. So you pull the pin, you aim, you squeeze, and then you sweep. All right.
From left to right.
Okay. PASS. I got you. Acronym.
Yes.
Here's another question, and anyone can answer, either Haj or yourself. How often should fire extinguishers be inspected or replaced?
George?
For the inspection of the fire extinguishers, it is recommended that they are inspected between 6 and 12 months. So, and what you do when you're inspecting them, you are checking the gauges, if they have gauge. And for the CO2, that's the carbon dioxide, because it does not carry a gauge, you have to be familiar with it, because they check to know the capacity of media in it still is by lifting it. You have to know the weight of it. And then in terms of the replacement, every 10 years they should be replaced, or it depends on the area which they are kept. Maybe the tank may deteriorate, the cylinder itself. Maybe that cylinder may deteriorate faster than 10 years.
Right.
But you check it for rusting, you check, make sure that the components of it are properly in place still. That's the carrying handle, the nozzle, and some of these parts can be replaced without replacing the entire cylinder.
Right.
But on each check, if you need to replace anything, you replace them. But for the cylinder itself, it's recommended to be replaced every 10 years.
Okay. Mr. Clark, anything to add to what Mr. Hodge shared?
Yes, very good.
Okay, great. No problem. Next question for you. As it relates to our culture here in St. Kitts and Nevis, what are the common mistakes people make when using a fire extinguisher that you've seen?
Well, from what I see, as Mr. Clark was trying to reiterate earlier, it's important that you point it at the base of the fire. The fire, persons, when they see the flame, they get frightened and they shoot the extinguishing agent at the flames. It doesn't do it any good. The flame is just what comes off of the product or the item that is burning. So you have to hit that burning item, which would be where the flames are coming from, not the flames itself. So, and another thing you see persons do is even before getting close enough to get an effective knockdown of the fire, they start shooting the media. So maybe by the time they get up to that, then the media is done because it's a small extinguisher. And it's not effective at all. So with proper training, and this training come for free from the fire department still. Sometime in the future, maybe we'll be asking for donations for them, but for now, it is free. The fire department comes out. For the training, you are just asked to maybe provide we use your extinguisher so that you are responsible for refilling it, and you're asked to provide any fuel that we use as well. But the knowledge, the theoretical session, all of that is free of cost, and we come out, we teach you anything you need to know about the extinguisher, and we have practical sessions with groups, agencies once they request them. And this helps in taking fright away from some persons, because they always say experience is the best teacher. And after experiencing, what happens, sometimes even for the CO2, when you pull that trigger, it comes out with that loud noise. It comes out very cold as well. You might get frightened. You don't want the first time using it is running up to a fire which is out of control.
And don't know what to expect as well.
Exactly.
Right.
So we, from the fire department, we go out, as I say, we do free sessions. You just provide the material for the practical. We come, we do what we have to do to get you and your staff, our co-workers, whatever it is, up to speed and to the proper use of the fire extinguishers.
You keep making mention of businesses. Is that service also available for homeowners?
Yes, it is. It's available for homeowners. But what we recommend, say, if you are living in a community other than we do every household and itself, maybe you can chat with the neighbors and we could do maybe a project. There are many different housing projects in the villages.
Right.
We can come out, we can just make some time and meet with these homeowners in the communities, and we deal with them as a group.
Yeah, got you.
So that way we are helping you to keep your home safe, and you are helping us as a fire department
to maximize
keep the country safe
and maximize your resources.
Yes, we are.
Right. You made mention of refilling an extinguisher. Walk us through that process. Is that something you have to go to an agent for? How is that process?
Yes, for the refilling of the extinguishers, I'm not sure if there's anybody else other than Carib Supply in St. Kitts. That's Carib Supply up the Bay Road, just before you reach the fisheries. Yes, they are the one that I know fills the fire extinguishers. So if the fire extinguishers are checked and you realize the gauge is not reading to the maximum, maybe even though the gauge is up, you could have used media from it, so it needs refilling. Depend on what has to be done and depend on the size of the tank when it's being refilled, the cost is different. So I do not know the exact cost of refilling the extinguishers,
Right.
but Carib Supply is the agent, the company in the federation that I know deals with the refilling of fire extinguishers.
All right.
So if you have extinguishers lying around the house, you check the business, you check the gauges, they are not up to scratch, you contact Carib Supply, you take them there, just make sure to properly mark your tanks, because a lot of persons' tanks are there. Just properly mark your tanks and have them taken to Carib Supply, and they would refill them for you at whatever the cost is. I'm not familiar with the cost of refilling them.
Okay. Next question for you as it relates to fire extinguisher. Our expectation, well, my expectation is if I'm using a fire extinguisher, it should out the fire. But worst case scenario, it doesn't out the fire. What should the individual do?
So, what I always say is if you see the fire, the first thing you do is you call the fire department. Fire extinguishers are designed to put down small fires. However, the fire may be too large a fire, but you could contain it a bit with an extinguisher. So let's say, for instance, there's a fire in the bedroom, or there's a fire in the kitchen. You can, if it's in an area that you can close off, it is best to close the doors to that area, and that prevents the spread of the fire. If it so happens that the fire is getting out a bit, you can use the extinguisher in that specific area, to shun it down, so it contains it until the fire department gets there. Other than just, you don't use it at all, you run away, the fire spreads rapidly, and then by the time the department comes, the whole house is ablaze.
Would you recommend teenagers and children to be trained to use fire extinguishers?
Yes, we do, and from a fire department standpoint, we do go around to the schools doing our fire prevention, and fire extinguishers is always a part of these fire prevention presentations, because sometimes these teenagers are home on their own, and if there's a fire in the home, they are very much capable of using that extinguisher. It's a very easy to use equipment. So once they have the knowledge of using it, and the little training, while they are home and you are at work or wherever you may be, that teen that you left home could have saved the home for you all.
Here's a scenario for you. I pulled the pin, I used the fire extinguisher, I got the fire out, but I didn't use all of the fire extinguisher. Can I put that back up and reuse it again?
It depends on
Because I already pulled the pin.
Yes, the pins can be replaced, and some of the pins are not secured. But some have a plastic security on them, so that when you pull it out, they can't fall. You won't last them, because they are reusable with the extinguishers. But it depends on the amount of media you would have expelled. Because sometimes, as you say, you may not have used all of the extinguishing media. It may have been maybe a 5-second blast, and that put down the fire, as opposed to using the agent for maybe 2 minutes. So that 5 seconds, I don't think it's needed. I don't think it would need to be refilled at that time. But it's just for you to know exactly how much media you would have thrown out. With the carbon dioxide, again, it doesn't have on the gauge, but it goes by the weight. And for most of the others, the compressed ones with the powder, there's a gauge on it, and it tells you how much compressed air is in it, and along with that, the weight of it tells you how much media is in it, because the gauge only reads the compressed air. It is to know that here you have air in there to push out the powder that is stored.
So you're saying basically, when in doubt, just go to the agent.
When in doubt, yes, take it to the agent and have them look at it.
All right. Gentlemen, we have 2 minutes. What we can do, we can wrap up our fire extinguisher conversation, which won't be too long, because I have maybe 2 or 3 more questions for you guys next week, and incorporate our next topic in our next program. Are you okay with that, Mr. Clark?
Yes, I am.
All right. What about you, Mr. Dodge? You okay with that?
Yes, I am.
Well, guys, I'm going to give you the last words, if any, and thank you both for being here today.
Mr. Clark?
Well, thank you, Jackie, for having the St. Kitts and Nevis Pharmacy Services, giving our advice, training, and knowledge. We have to ensure that the citizens and the residents are safe at all costs. And what we are doing, and we are planning to do in the future, is to give them enough advice and training. And we also plan to go out in the community to meet with citizens, meet with children, meet with church goers, to ensure that we instill the safety knowledge about fire prevention as it relates to the safety and of the citizens. So this is Mr. Clark from the St. Kitts and Nevis Pharmacy Services. Thank you for having me, Vicky.
You're most welcome. And have a good day, sir.
Thank you.
Same
All
to
right,
you.
well, for me, I would just like to run off the topic of fire extinguishers for a bit in closing, and I would like to make the general public aware that this year the Fire and Rescue Services turns 25 years of separation from the police force, and what we are hoping to do is do a different activity every month in celebration of our 25th birthday. So this...
Well, congratulations, man.
You're welcome. So for this month, we would be doing community cleanup in each district. We have pinpointed an area already in the Tabernacle district. Sandy Point, I think by the end of the day, we would confirm what we'll be doing. And Bastia has this area already for the cleanup. But we are moving forward with our anniversary. I think last month would have been more fire prevention. So Mr. Martin would have took the head of that, where he would have gone to different places. I think he would have done a lot, maybe 2-3 places, along with all of the TDC branches, St. Kitts and Nevis. So the fire service is putting itself out there. We are here to work for you, and we welcome any suggestions that you may have leading to our 25th anniversary. And we would be here telling you about our events, and we welcome you to come on board with the St. Kitts and Nevis Fire and Rescue Services as we celebrate 25 years.
This message brought to you by ZIZ and the Fire Department of St. Kitts and Nevis.
I am Woman Fire Officer Mavis White Archibald with your safety tip for today. Install smoke alarms on every level of your home, inside bedrooms and outside sleeping areas. Test smoke alarms every month. If they are not working, change the batteries.
This message was brought to you by ZIZ and the St. Kitts Nevis Fire Department.
Get value you'll love only at Quartz. With huge savings on select mattresses, mobile phones, and TVs. You'll also love our new arrivals in furniture and appliances. Plus, when you shop, get a chance to win great prizes. So come in, shop today, and pay later with Quartz Ready Finance. Get value you'll love only at Quartz. Bringing value home. Offer ends February 24, 2025. See store for details.
National Bank is celebrating 54 years of banking, and we are offering you, our valued customers, up to $100,000 unsecured for 54 days. Starting February 3rd, pay off your outstanding bills or plan that much-needed vacation for this year. Quick approval and flexible repayment terms up to 8 years. Don't miss out on this amazing opportunity to achieve your financial goals for 2025. Avoid the rush and apply online at www.sknanb.com. Offer ends March 28th. Terms and conditions apply.
Kickstart the new year with great deals and massive savings. Get up to 25% off store-wide for this year, 2025 at Smart and Island Electronics. Get your hands on the latest gadgets, electronics, and appliances such as smartphones, TVs, washing machines, stoves, refrigerators, and much more. Shop now and see big at Smart Electronics Port Sunday, Island Electronics Port Street, and Smart Electronics opposite Value Mart in Shopstone, Nevis. Be smart, shop Smart Electronics and see big. Terms and conditions apply. See in stores for details.
Are you tired of Wi-Fi dead zones in your home? The Cable has the ultimate solution with our whole home Wi-Fi coverage. Say goodbye to frustrating signal drops and hello to seamless connectivity in every corner of your home. No more
Mom, my tablet's not working in my bedroom. My game is freezing, Daddy.
or WhatsApp calls dropping as you walk around the house. So many people struggle with dead zones and restricted Wi-Fi, and the Cable has the answer. Enjoy full blanket increased Wi-Fi coverage with installation in 48 hours or less. Whole home Wi-Fi coverage is here. Get the whole family connected today. Come in or call the Cable at 465-2588 to get your whole home Wi-Fi boost installed. The Cable, always giving you more. Terms and conditions apply.
Brute force on the front line. Youth force, it's your time. Rastafari, call ya, call ya, call ya.
Yeah, man, our soldiers report to duty.
King Selassie, ya, call ya, call ya, call ya.
Who have eyes to see them, I go see, and who have ears, them, I go hear. When Rastafari calling, the reception of it clear. Hungry for naked be clothed, many infants to be cured. Sick be nourished, protected, that's the duty that we share. When you take up Rasta banner, do not take it for no joke. It's more than just the locks up on your head and what you smoke. The words them that you spoke, energies you evoke. There must be a reflection of the king.
Hey, I emerge from the shadows with my big spliff aglow. Kabaka sent to call me, said the war it ready now. Raga send me on the road with the magazine them load. Lyrically rapid fire when the attack.